Just a couple of thoughts about Trump's tariffs and what I think is likely to happen. He is definitely taking a big swing and trying to better America. I truly do believe that these are his intentions. Whether or not he's going to hit the home run, whether it's going to be a single or whether he strikes out for America is a completely different story. And it's based on a variety of factors. Trump wants jobs to return to America. I definitely believe that he is for the middle class and wants a better quality of life for them rather than all the jobs being shipped overseas. Now, I've said in past videos, it's a little bit like osmosis, where you have a high concentration of solvent, which in this case is money, that is being transferred as the membranes go from very solid to semi-permeable to other countries and raising, to some degree, standards of living there. I've been all over the world. I've been to Cambodia. I've seen the garment workers going into their factories on the cattle cars, and the amount, and this is like 10 years ago, of literal violence that occurred when they asked for $5 a month wages was very high, just so that you get some perspective as to how other people live. But Trump is enacting an America First policy and hoping that the tariffs return jobs and factories to the United States. Now, the question is, will corporations move and start bringing manufacturing home? Many of them are going to be very cynical and they're saying, well, we're just going to wait it out because Trump's going to be gone in 4 years and maybe he doesn't even stand up and has to drop the tariffs, and we are not going to bear that gigantic expense when we expect the tariffs to be gone. So why should we bring the manufacturing home? We'll pay a temporary fee. Yes, it'll cut into our profits. Yes, but we expect these tariffs to dissipate and we aren't going to bring these factories back. It's just too much red tape. It's too costly and it takes too much time. These are certainly valid thought processes by various CEOs who have to look out for shareholder value. However, on the positive end, many countries see the United States as the golden goose. We are the ones who ship the US dollar all over the world, and we are able to do that for one reason, and one reason only, really, and that's because America, for the last, since World War II, and maybe even before that, has been the world's reserve currency. That means everybody wants the US dollar because it's stable, because it's not printed ad nauseum, although it has been recently, especially under Joe Biden, and it holds its value. You can go anywhere overseas and exchange the US dollar for local currency. You cannot, for example, bring the Norwegian currency to America and easily exchange it. Definitely true of places like Egypt or the Colombian peso. You have some of those bills, good luck exchanging them anywhere outside the immediate vicinity of the country or even in the country itself when it comes to a place like Burma or Myanmar, where nobody will accept the money from outside the country. So the US having the world's reserve currency is a huge asset for us, for you. And the question is, will China be able to break the stranglehold that the US has? Now, the Biden administration did no favors for the US as the world's reserve currency when they decided to take Russia's foreign reserve and say that you no longer own them. Now the US is not seen as a neutral currency, but similarly, neither is the Chinese RMB. Nobody trust those commie bastards. That's just the reality. They will play nice until they decide not to. Now, my fear for the United States is that they lose the world's reserve currency status to one thing: Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a completely neutral, decentralized protocol that has the same rules for everyone, that cannot be printed ad nauseum. The more people that step on to the Bitcoin network means a decrease in the viability of the US dollar. Similarly, you have China that is right now selling their treasury securities in an effort to decouple from the United States and also raise our interest rates, because part of the rationale for doing all this is to drop interest rates with the market uncertainty and see the borrowing costs for the United States government drop precipitously, which will save us hundreds of billions of dollars in interest payments. It's a necessity, people, an absolute necessity. We are so far in debt, and that's part of the reason that Donald Trump is taking this mighty swing, because if we continue to go down the same route that we are going, the US would be completely insolvent, and Donald Trump is taking a mighty chance in terms of putting America back into the game of production and footing. Now, I don't think that all these companies are going to ship their factories back to the United States. But what I do expect is that countries who ship their products to the United States, who do not want tariffs to be put on them, are going to come and negotiate with the United States. There are many countries that are offering 0 for 0 tariffs. They'll drop all their tariffs if the US drops all their tariffs. So my hope and my expectation is that they will come to an agreement which will lessen the friction of the United States shipping their products abroad and make the US more competitive and free up trade. I don't think that we could ever have fully free trade because different countries have different regulations and rules in regards to, for example, pollution. All these companies in Europe that say, well, we are great stewards of the environment and ship all of their production to China, where they're able to pollute at far greater levels than they otherwise would in Europe, for example, are doing just the opposite, but what they're trying to play in public, the way they're trying to frame it and for the media to get out is that they're stewards of the environment when they're anything but that. So my expectation is that tariffs across nations will go down and the US will be in a better position, which will enable Trump to claim victory. And some tariffs will definitely remain. Trump absolutely needs, and we need as America, because that's what COVID showed us with China hoarding the PPP equipment that they had promised originally to ship to the United States. They kept it for themselves. What happens when we need ammunition that is made in China, medicine that is made in China, and chips? We need to have those on shore. Those are vital for the survival of any country, especially for the United States. So to maintain global dominance, and we have to remain the world's reserve currency, my expectation is for several months we're going to have these tariffs and many countries are going to blink. We are going to negotiate better and lower tariffs for U.S. corporations shipping overseas, in addition to getting rid of the red tape that I mentioned earlier. For example, the Japanese in 2023 banned all U.S. beef imports because of one mad cow disease that was noted, and they didn't resume full importation of U.S. beef until the year 2019, which coincidentally was when Donald Trump was in office. So we hopefully will be able to reduce the friction because they have many ploys to prevent U.S. products from being shipped out there and to protect local providers and suppliers of these goods. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section, what I got right, what you think I might have gotten wrong, and your take on it.